or more of a racial divide.
Brown then stabs Zarutska several times.
Of course, he's going to show a video of a black guy doing a crime. Am I allowed to show a white guy doing a crime? No. Only black people are criminals? Base. Neighbors. Touchdown, people. Touchdown. Look at all the black criminals. Them fucking black criminals.
And that's why this time, I didn't visit the barbershop merely to listen, but to communicate a very real set of grievances that could bubble into massive consequences. This one goes a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, like, these black people need to get their act together, bro. Like, these black people are destroying America. They need to realize that they need to act correctly. Honestly, just act more white. You'll do much better if you act more white, of course.
Compared to last time, this is black and white on the gray issue. I met Cedric. I think I skipped.
But he had on a MAGA hat. Okay. And he walked in and was like, "Hey, I saw you guys on Crowder. Can I get a cut here?" Yeah, I guess so, man. Come on.
Did you have your hand on your piece? You're like, I don't know.
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he nice? Was he good?
Cool.
Yeah. What do you guys think, like, when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So, like, what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does depend on how they present themselves. Obviously, if you're just pro-Trump, I'm not going to say anything. I don't go out of my way to disrespect people just because they're a Trump supporter. I think it's abhorrent supporting Trump at this point. But I mean, if that's your take, that's your take. There's really nothing I can do about that. Just meeting you haphazardly. But if you're disrespectful, racist to me, I mean, anytime someone's disrespectful to you, of course you're gonna have that energy, right? So I mean, disrespect is disrespect, regardless of what you wear, regardless how you represent yourself. If you don't disrespect me, I won't disrespect you. Simple as that.
Some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me, I'm very conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm gonna respond appropriately.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
What would be like an air of superiority? Like,
just like certain things you say in conversation, and like you said, just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, when I do the change my minds and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not. It's like, what is it, the crab that has the red under its claws is showing danger? So I don't wear red, because apparently that signifies poison. But yeah, no, there's all these body language experts now. You watching TV, and I'd be like, this seems like horse shit. Like, he looks to the left, so you can tell he's lying.
Yeah, some of it is horse.
It's like, I saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say that answer. He had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, often you see in news, people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country is now? Like, with that? Like,
is that an open question? Or?
Yeah, race relations between, because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the country?
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And absolutely, I'll give you several reasons. See, in order to have, you can't have a one.
I respect Steven Crowder for coming and having this conversation. I do think Steven Crowder is a piece of shit, but regardless if I think if he's a piece of shit or not, these conversations are valuable. Now, I do think there's a level of intentionality for Steven Crowder to see himself as superior because this is his occupation and he wants to make himself seem smarter than the average American. And that is piece of shit behavior. But one thing that I will take away from this is that I know the value of talking to the people and getting their opinions. Like recently, I'm wearing this yellow shirt because I was at the No Kings protest and they asked people to wear yellow. So I got a yellow shirt to wear for it. And I went out there and just asked people questions and try to hear and see what see where they're at. And my intention when I'm talking to these people is not really to make them look stupid, but I do think it's valuable for them to understand information that they may not be privy to, right? The one thing that I raise consistently to all the people that I was talking about is, are you paying attention to the governor race? Because I do think it's important in lieu of Donald Trump's fascist regime, where he's sending the National Guard into states. Vivek Ramaswamy is a cuck, so he definitely will allow Donald Trump to send the National Guard in Ohio. Do we want the military to scour Columbus and Cincinnati? I think a lot of people would not want that. So I brought that to their attention, but overall, I was asking questions and hearing their thoughts and just letting them talk. It wasn't really a back and forth. It was me listening. So I do think that's valuable. I don't think that's what Steven Crowder does. I do think he wants to make himself look like he's smarter than the average American, which is congratulations, this is your job. But I just wanted to point that out. So I started out saying I give credit to Steven Crowder, then I ended up shitting on him. Very base.
Dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to lead from a global perspective. All right. What you see here today is an isolationism approach, which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history. All right. And I'll just simply close by saying, you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly infuriated with the way America has taken shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities to China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down into the Latin American corridor, fortifying their bases while we're still hollering that we're the greatest.
You talking about China, like in the Panama Canal?
Not just the Panama Canal. Let's pivot from the Panama Canal and let's look at the long-term strategy they have now, where they just signed an agreement with Mexico to build another canal bypassing the Panama Canal. And when you look at the whole transatlantic corridor, where you got now Brazil and Canada as well as Mexico trading, and they're stopping in Peru, where China has.
Okay, this guy knows a thing or two. I didn't even know about the Mexico thing. I do know that China is trying to get its fangs in a lot of areas that America is abandoning. So with America removing U.S. aid, a lot of these international countries that are losing aid and losing resources, China is swooping in and becoming the benefactor of a lot of these areas. So that is definitely happening. And China is also brokering a lot of deals with some of the people that we're probably getting more of an aggressive relationship for. Like, for example, Russia and China are becoming much more friendly to the point where Russia says they want China to be the #1 nuclear power in the world. That's what Putin said verbatim. So he's saying some interesting things.
A huge presence at circumventing completely the navigation and the use that comes with having to use the Panama Canal. So we'll avoid conflict with America and just simply go around America is what's happening here.
Talking about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I want to agree with the first part, autocratic. I think China needs to be dealt with. And this is the first time we are. I was raised in Canada. Mm-hmm. Canada sucks. Canada is a dog shit country. Canada, the kind of shit we're doing, you can't do this in Canada. If you say something too offensive or I say something too offensive, you will be jailed in Canada. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm fine with
I don't believe him. I think he's making that shit up. Steven Crowder, I don't believe you.
The U.S. being the best country. I came here from Canada because, I have friends who were arrested. I had a friend, stand-up comic, was fined for telling a joke. I don't think people realize how good we have it here in this country compared to others.
It depends on, let me hear the joke. And you said arrested, so you're a fucking liar.
The countries.
But that's the painstaking part about it all is the fact that, I've always been one to say, and I believe this firmly, freedom is not a right. It's a privilege until you wake up the next morning and find out you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes with duties.
That's what I was about to say. It also comes with responsibilities because while we free to speak and say what we want, and I went to Montreal a few months ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bet you saw a lot of tits on signs. That's all it is.
No, I did.
It's just strip clubs. Our Times Square is a giant strip club.
It was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But no, like there is responsibility, and like everybody's from different places, different backgrounds. Some of us from certain backgrounds know, like, running your mouth too much in a certain space can get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Like, you're free to say what you want, you're just not free from the consequences. Like, the consequences that come with you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's where we all have responsibilities in what we say and when we say it.
Yeah. The problem, and I was kind of talking more domestically, the problem with that idea is a lot of people are offended by different things. Mm-hmm. And so people get their ass whooped for something they didn't say, right? That's the real thing. I don't know if you guys were following the stabbing there on that train in Charlotte, Irina Zarutska. Last time I was asking where you guys thought we were as far as in the country relation. Like, you guys heard the term black fatigue? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just become a recent thing.
And do you know what it means?
I'm not sure.
It's a term that's being used by people in the white community, by and large, again, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit. That was a girl who was dying alone in public. And that was a guy who was let out 14 times. 14 times, including violent crimes, in the name of racial justice, right? He didn't have to post bail. He didn't have to appear back in court. This is not the first time he's assaulted someone.
How do we know that was in the interest of racial justice as opposed to just being
because the judge said it?
A attempt at justice, period.
Yeah.
Like, the legal system has its flaws.
Yeah.
And people have been making complaints about that for decades, right? But that's just, to me, that's a mental health thing more than it's a black and white thing.
Well, I'll tell you why, because white people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just white people are saying, hey, we're in
makes it a bigger thing.
But white people are playing victim mentality. Oh, white people are saying it now. They're being told to say it. This has been made a victimization thing from the majority of white people. Now, I have always pushed back on the idea that all white people are racist and certain things like that. But ultimately, when it comes down to the realities of what is going on in society, there's still a lot of white people doing crimes. There's a lot of white people who are racist. There's a lot of areas in the United States of America that I'll never go because I know they will not like black people. We have literal cities, towns in America called the most racist places in America because we know that these are white places of where white people are that hate on black people. The KKK still is an organization in America. So do not play this victim mentality where it's like white people have it hard. I think for the most part, we should, treat both sides equally in terms of, looking beyond race in general. I 100% agree to that. But this whole idea that you're trying to push out that black people are getting some type of privilege and being allowed to do more criminal actions and that white people are becoming victims of, black criminality. That's the picture that you're trying to paint by using this clip of this crazy black dude doing this terrible thing. What if I use a clip of white people victimizing Hispanic people? Oh, you don't give a fuck because they're illegal immigrants, apparently. Of course you don't give a shit. What about white people on black people? So this victim mentality is some bullshit, bro.
Well, because, white people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person the other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
Where? Not in
the United States. I mean, we're not talking about Ghana.
And
yeah.
What I'm saying is, in white communities or in quote-unquote so-called white communities?
Across the country, the rate is a black man or person, because most murders men, there are very few female murders, 12 times more likely to kill a white person the other way around. And then you look at the average amount of times that someone in this country is arrested before they're brought in for killing, charged with murder. Do you know how many times they're arrested on average before they murder? 11 times.
Once again, the justice system's got its flaws, and people have been complaining about that for years. We spend more time trying to fix that than trying to complain about the white versus black of it all.
Well, I think, just like I was trying to listen to all communities last time, I think this is something that's unavoidable. If this community, if enough white people get pissed off, they're going, look, we're living in New York now, we're getting killed in record numbers, or Detroit, 12 times the rate. And our system, 3 strikes in California, right? That was a 3-strike policy. The reason that was changed, they said it was racist. Crime went down in black communities 30%. But now people are looking at their cities going, this is a fucking hellscape. And the murder is skyrocketing because people said in the name of racial justice, like, 3 felonies, you're out.
Because crime is crime, right? But crime is usually going to be higher concentrated in areas where there's high poverty. So typically the areas that's high poverty in this country are areas with people with this color skin. So that's why you're going to have, that's why I said those numbers could be skewed and made to manipulate to look like, oh yeah, that's why I said in
not at 12 times the rate.
In suburban neighborhoods.
Yes, at 12 times the rate. He's absolutely correct. The minority, the poor areas are filled with black people. Now that is a problem, and I do think it's a multi-layered issue that needs to be fixed. But what are you trying to insinuate here? That black people are the problem? What about black people? What is wrong with black people that you're trying? What claim are you trying to make? This doesn't seem like an open conversation. It seems like you're trying to insinuate something.
White people are not in danger, and that's what this kind of fear mongering tells them, is that you're in danger because you're 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person. You live in ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody tripping on you. But these people are just as scared as the other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Nope.
That man was mentally insane.
But why was he back in
family members? He had his own family members call the hospital to try to get him committed. He told his sister he killed that woman because he thought she was trying to read his mind.
Yep. Why was he let out, though? And I'm not saying it's because he's black.
Yeah,
I'm saying people look at it, though. The judge
that
said,
become part of black fatigue?
he's insane, right? We agree.
That's not a black and white issue.
He was deemed not fit to stand trial, right?
Right.
Now,
He should
the
have been
IOU,
institutionalized.
right, the IOU policy, meaning you don't have to pay.
I guarantee I can find examples of this being a white person. He is hyper focusing on it. He has an agenda here. And I bet if I look up the quote of what this guy says, that this, you know, I am, because Steven Crowder is a lying piece of shit. So let me look up all
Bill,
this.
you don't even have to stay here until you're actually convicted. You just say you'll come back.
Right,
That was the
which is
14th time.
messed up.
Yeah,
Which
the
is messed
judge,
up.
Teresa Stokes, black woman, said, well, this is about racial justice. We need to be softer on crime. So that's her reasoning. That's why he was out. And you can find dozens of examples.
That's her misguided reasoning.
And that's policy.
But
and
that's
not
that's
like
systemic,
That's
though, right?
not representative of a whole.
It's not. It's not. No, and look, we always have to say not all. Like not all white people wear MAGA hats and are dumbass pieces of racist shit. But we have all been accused of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. What I'm saying is black fatigue is white people going, you know what? I know I'm not racist. And I know that we're dealing with record crime. And I know that I'm more at risk. And they have negative interactions. And they're constantly told that they're not allowed to voice their fucking opinion because they're white. And if
But again, he's right. The data is skewed. This is skewed data. You can't just say that this is a circumstance where people are feeling for their lives on the streets if they just meet a black person. Are you trying to say that black people are just inherently more what? Oh, bro, Steven Crowder's so sneaky. I mean, it's very obvious this dude's racist, but he's trying to pretend that he's not.
those people get this off, like that's where we actually could end up with some kind of, I'm telling you, I see this brewing. I see people who were milquetoast white suburban who are becoming actually racist. Now, not all of them, but I've seen people actually become racist because they get mugged,
Because of
their
pieces
store
of
gets
shit like
looted,
you.
and nothing gets done. They're going, and if I say something, it's turned into a racist.
That happens to black people. The black people story gets looted, nothing gets done too. Like this is a fucking all thing. You just care because it happens to white people. Get the fuck out, yo. I'm trying to find this statistics. I really am. Race on race. Let me say race on race violent crime statistics. I'm trying to look this up because my default is just not to believe what Steven Crowder says because he's a lying piece of shit. Not saying he's incorrect. I'm just saying I just will never believe what he has to say. I'm trying to find out crime on like types of people. Overall violent crime. Looking victimization pattern by race, crime statistics. Most common offender race, same race. So, I mean, from what I'm seeing very clearly is that obviously when it comes to violent crime, right? So this is what I'm looking at right now. When it comes to violent crime, I'm using the globalstatistics.com at the moment. When it comes to violent crime, black people, and I never dismiss the, there are issues with the black community. I want to be very clear. I'm really looking at the intent behind what Steven Crowder is trying to prove. Just because these statistics exist doesn't mean that it's a clear conclusion that you can make that black people are inherently more violent. It's very circumstantial and contextual based off situations regarding black people and their environment. Like you said, black people typically are in more poor areas. So black people are leading in terms of murder, primary group, robbery, and then primary aggravated assault. So black people are leading that statistic. And then they are also, I'm trying to figure out the reporting to police, most violent victimization, most common offender race. So white people commit more violent crimes on white people than black people. I'm gonna look up that statistic too, actually. Is it experience the highest rate of violent victimization? Other demographic groups, then racial groups. White victims represent the largest absolute number of crime victims consistent with population percentage. So white people commit victim rate per 100,000, homicide demographics, primarily same race. So again, the most homicide rate that happens to white people are from other white people. But Steven Crowder is not bringing that up. He's bringing up black people for some reason. Okay. It's just black people do more of crime in general, but white people also commit the more crime on themselves. But he's bringing up black people. But this is a bad number though. 28% is a horrible number. I'm not gonna lie, that's a horrible number. The clearance rates, side statistics represent the most severe form of violent crime. African Americans experience homicide victimization rate of 28.4 per 100, nearly 9 times higher than white Americans and 4 times higher than Hispanic Americans. Irish trends crime, drug crime, juvenile crime, juvenile statistics, arrests, property crime rates, school-based incidents. School-based incidents is fucking high as fuck. I'm trying to find race on race. I mean, it seems clear to me. I'm not finding a very specific. What does recidivism mean? Reveal disparities in criminal outcomes across, show the highest overall recidivism rate. What is recidivism? Tell me what recidivism is. The fuck? Based on the surrounding page content, recidivism refers to the tendency of previously to reoffend and be rearrested after release. Okay. Crime prevention. I can't confirm this statistic, but I'll keep on playing it though. I think he's not over exaggerating, but falsely using the statistics to prove a claim of black danger, so to speak.
I'm telling you what, that's where it's coming from. At what point do we have a talk and go like, okay, let's reform justice, but we have to be honest as to why it was reformed in the first place. This guy, it's not even the only one. It's every 3 days someone's being offed.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's transfer that over to, I mean, there's a lot of unsafe things in this world. Like getting mugged by a black person is not the paramount unsafe thing. There's school shootings, there's road rage, there's all of that shit.
Yep.
And the primary people that commit a lot of those are people who don't have this skin.
No.
So if switch it over, if black people say, well, we getting fed up and we tired of all these school shootings and all of these road rage and all that, who do we say something to? Who hears our voice?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
Well, we've been hearing about that's the point, right? We've been hearing about it all our lives, about white fatigue, about systemic discrimination.
But nothing's ever been done. That's the problem.
It has been done. That's why we've done systemic justice reform that has led to more crime, right? That's the reason for no 3-strike policy. That's the reason for cashless bail. That's the reason for catch and release. The reason for it, in the wake of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd riots, Summer of Love, was we're going to reform crime, we're going to reform the justice system, and it's gotten worse everywhere it's been. And then
This is cap. This is cap. This is cap. It has not gotten worse in every place it's been. That's just not true. The worst amount of like violence and crime happens in Republican areas where it's not as good. Now, the reason why there's still like high level crime in like cities and compared to other areas is because the cities have it has such a big population. That's what I was trying to say. It's such a big condensed population, and they're not really fixing the poor rate that's going on. But the idea that these programs have made things worse is full of shit. It's just a made up narrative.
when white people leave those neighborhoods, well, now it's white flight. If they come in, it's gentrification. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who are pissed off, and they're not going to sit down and have this conversation and be real about it. And they're going, well, what happens when someone has to keep their mouth shut about everything?
Nobody said you have to.
That's how they feel. That's how they feel.
I don't believe white people have to keep their mouth shut. I think white people.
There's a reason why he's saying that's how they feel. He won't say it because he won't say what he feels because he doesn't want to get not attacked, but he doesn't want to get in an aggressive conversation. This is what he thinks. He's not just saying this blanketly. He thinks this.
People don't speak up about a lot of the things that they do and they perpetuate that affects us negatively. That's the stuff that nobody wants to. That the issues aren't made about those things. I really respect the platform that you have because you do have open and honest conversations. And I have to say, I don't believe that those numbers about the black people murdering white people are correct. I don't believe those numbers are correct.
What if they are? What if I'm not lying to you?
If you're not, then I've been misled and I've been isolated from realistic numbers. But I know in this country, from the time that we got here and until now, There's never been hordes of black people that just go out and maraud and menace white people. Now, interactions happen and things do occur. I'm not saying that they don't, but not by and large in number. We can't be this smaller percentage of the overall population and still have the numbers that people try to perpetuate onto us. See, black people do more harm to other black people than we do to other white people.
Well, that's true. That's true. Because people were close. That's true.
We also have historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So
like,
when people say
it's not happening now.
So
I'm just saying,
and that's the point. Is we're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point. I wasn't finished making.
Wait, what did he say is not happening?
We also have historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So
like,
when people say
it's not happening now.
So
I'm just saying,
and that's the point. Is we're at a precipice.
That's not happening now. Didn't a guy get lynched just recently? Didn't that happen? Wasn't there a whole group chat of young Republicans calling black people watermelon eaters and monkeys? It's not happening now. That's just not true. There's areas in America that black people just can't go to. There's areas in America called the most racist towns in America. The KKK still exists. Stop lying. This idea that black people are just safe in America now is some bullshit.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point.
Sorry,
I wasn't finished making my point. You know, when like I said, black fatigue, that's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that, okay, they tired of black people. They tired of what you said, that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do, well, when you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what, I put it like this. White people got the firecrackers, we got the stem. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us. The bad stuff that's go wrong with this world is the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here, we have been tasked with the negative, the criminal, the immoral. That's us, and that's what we consider. That's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say that's just how it's always been. So we don't make up words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this. We have to do that. So you don't be deemed as it. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there will be no need for the further reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about, because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally.
I can't find the statistic that Crowder is referring to. I think he's making that shit up. And the statistics that I did find is that white people commit the most crime amongst themselves. Black people commit the most crimes amongst themselves. Now, the black people do have more of a violent homicide crime rate for sure. So it would make sense that, that would include other demographics of groups. But to use that as a means to say that white people are in danger of black people is so fucking flawed and some bullshit. That's some bullshit. And then try to dismiss the fact that black people are in danger from groups of white people in America is some bullshit. Steven Crowder is just painting a narrative. I looked up the statistics. I couldn't prove his statistic. Oh, let me look up that judge quote.
Stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you want to feel like, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, and what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when
who's this fucking white person? What hypothetical are you creating? If someone who apply to college, a white person's not gonna get a Pell Grant. He's gonna get financial aid. What the fuck? What? You're just making fucking shit up. Keep going.
When you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right? So they're going to make that connection. Now they had no.
Now BLM was a very bad movement. The whole rioting and stuff was terrible. I agree. I do not defend BLM riots, but at the same time, Okay, someone's getting radicalized. You're helping them get radicalized by pushing your own narratives. So Steven Crowder is acting like he's not a part of the radicalization of white people by telling them what they want to hear, and he's trying to act like, oh, this is what your bitch ass is saying. But keep on continuing.
Institutional power, but if they go into a neighborhood that's largely black, they're gonna get the shit kicked out of them.
That's just not fucking true. What about when a black person goes into buck fuck nowhere in the Midwest? They're gonna get lynched. I can make the same fucking blanketed claim. The fuck are you talking about? And why would a random white person who has nothing to do with a black neighborhood go to a fucking black neighborhood in the first place? What are you trying to play this victim mentality? Majority of America is more dangerous for black people than white people. Get the fuck out of here. Stop fucking playing this victim bullshit with me. What the fuck are we talking about? This is not true.
They're being blamed for something that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have unity?
And you're trying to blame all black people for things that a lot of black people have nothing to do with, right? Saying that they're dangerous criminals if they go in a black neighborhood. You're making a blanketed claim. That's fucking retarded. That's a stupid remark to make. At the end of the day, when it comes to the resources and privileges that a demographic of people have, white people have way more than black people, and it's not even close. So this is such a stupid fucking claim. All the wealth is within white people. It's like, what are we talking about?
This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather's a and you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with not even my generation. Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots. They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing a 12-time murder rate skyrocket.
Because your bitch ass was creating narratives about the BLM riots. Your bitch ass was creating narratives of DEI that were not factually fucking true. And then you're surprised when these young Republicans are getting radicalized from your rhetoric that your fucking magtards are pushing out. Now, I have issues with the far left. I have criticized them all the time. I'm saying the idea of all white people are racist, fucking stupid. Dumb as shit. All white people aren't racist. There's a lot of great white people that exist. The idea that black people deserve reparations, never agreed with that. But the idea that black people would have the same opportunity of success as a white person is just factually untrue. This is just objectively not true. The idea that black people, there is like legit statistical, verifiable evidence there are qualities of black people that get them passed by for other people. That's just factually true. So, like these locations where the institutions from the ground up are normalized for white success, of course, it's going to be harder for a black person to be successful. That's why DEI existed. Oh my fucking God, 2 + 2 = 4. But your dumbass can't realize that, and bro, it's like, what are we talking about?
Rocketing crime and any proposals they make, not holding institutional power, shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
If you believe that, that's fine, but you can't tell that young white kid who had nothing to do with it that he should just sit down and take it, especially.
What is this fucking Steven Crowder is such a fucking weasel. He's such a weasel. What argument are you making? God, this is not a real conversation. I'm trying to find this quote from the judge. Last week, judge issued an order that called for it to be taken from prison to central blah blah blah. Was shared by heavily, but soon enough, countless Twitter accounts began to spread misinformation about. All right, here we go. And we're ending this. I can't deal with this. Steven Crowder is such a weasel. So the black dudes in this barbershop are actually doing a very good job, by the way. I didn't say that before, but they're doing a great job. So did the judge release DeCarlos Brown Jr.? Last week, Judge Roy Williams issued an order that called for DeCarlos Brown Jr. to be taken from, this is called the tab.com. I don't know. I'll just click on the first source. From prison to central regional hospitals Butner campus in Charlotte, North Carolina. The order was shared by Headline USA journalist Ken Silva, but soon enough, countless Twitter accounts began to spread misinformation about DeCarlo Brown Jr.'s release from prison. While everyone's focused on Charlie Kirk assassination, this Democrat judge in North Carolina ordered Irina Zaruda's murderer, DeCarlos Brown, to be released from prison. One such post, which has been viewed 2.7 million times, read, "They're trying to make sure he doesn't even go to trial and is set free." And this is where the critical thinking skills are really important, because while the judge did issue an order for DeCarlo's release, he's not a free man in North Carolina. Instead, he has been remanded to Central Regional Hospital for psychological testing. Defendant to be committed to Central Regional Hospital for a period not to exceed 60 days for observation and treatment pursuant to GS 15A1002 to determine the defendant's capacity to proceed. So what actually happened is that this guy wasn't released. He was sent to a hospital to check if this guy was mentally there. He obviously wasn't. He was crazy. This wasn't the right decision, and he killed someone, unfortunately. The observers, blah, blah, to identify, pointed out plenty of people misunderstood the order was actually for. Is he in jail? No. Okay, so he was released from jail. The original poster, blah. Start holding judges accountable for their decision, whatever. So yeah, he wasn't set free. He was checked for his mental capacity, basically. I don't know. I don't agree that's the right decision, but that's obviously not the narrative that Crowder tried to spin. But that's all I got. You know what? I'm curious. I'm gonna see these comments. I bet they're gonna say exactly what I expect. They're gonna be racist against black people. Let's see. What I'm hearing is the actions of the worst of white people reflect all of white people, but the action of the worst of black people does not reflect all of black people. Oh, crazy. Crazy. And racist black comment. I want to talk, but I don't want to listen. Fatigue is real. Again, another racist black comment. But white people, but white people, but white people. So Crowder is surprised that this is the sentiment when this is the narrative that he's trying to push on his platform. And he gets a whole comments of just being racist against black people. Oh, who would have thought? Get the fuck out of here. Go fuck yourself with your victim mentality bullshit. If you want to have an actual productive conversation, then actually engage with the dialogue that is taking place and the facts of the issue. This is not engaging with the conversation. This is shouting out narratives and not taking accountability of your part to play in the narratives that are being spun. You can go fuck yourself. All right, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed. You have a good one. Take care. That's all we got for my stream too. So take care. Peace.